Ken Jolliffe of B.I.S. Commodities here in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I'm going to go through a summary for the week of June 18th. On the grains this week, been quite a week of volatility. July corn, we're up about 12 cents on the week. December corn, we're up about 48 cents on the week. And July soybeans, about 65 cents higher on the week. November soybeans up about 58 cents on the week. Some of the highlights here this week, naturally, is the weather market. We began the week out Monday and Tuesday with some extremely hot temperatures across the Midwest. The wind, kicked up to some 20 and 30 mile an hour winds, showing a lot of stress on the corn and bean crop. Thus, the rally in the futures market the first couple of days. Midweek, we had some decent rains come across Iowa. Some half to 1.5 inch rains fell in the probably the western 2/3 of the state. These rains somewhat tempered out as they moved towards the Mississippi River, and the eastern corn belt of Illinois, Indiana are still lacking moisture. Stress is showing in a lot of the crops out there. The weather we're talking about here right now, it gets somewhat complicated here as we go into the end of the week. We've got a tropical depression in the Gulf that the two weather models that everybody watches are in disagreement right now where that tropical depression is going to go to. The one model has it coming into the Texas Gulf area. The other one has it coming into the Florida Gulf area. So it's going to be very critical coming into Sunday night where these models have that particular storm coming into, as far as any potential moisture maybe being thrown up into the eastern corn belt area. Other things going on there this week, the cash trade. You're looking at the old crop in particular with the rain event in the western corn belt. We saw a pretty decent movement of old crop corn. We noticed the processors across the state dropped bases anywhere from 15 to 25 cents with this movement. Some of that stems back to their inventories that they want to control as we go into the next couple of months. Also, very important to look at is the ethanol margins, which are deeply in the red right now. There seem to be quite a few rumors rolling around that we were going to see some ethanol plants either shut down or possibly reduce their grinds, and thus the nearby corn basis took the hit that we've seen. A little bit of new crop corn did move out in these areas here of the western corn belt with the rains as the producer felt a little more comfortable with his production, plus the rally of the D's futures into that 550, 560 area allowed them to get some sales back on, or at least some type of price protection on at that time. Some of the upcoming events we've got going on as we go into next week. Naturally, we got new hours starting in the pits on Monday. We'll have the official close, with the open outcry in the pits being extended until 2 o'clock so they can match up with the electronic trade. Next Friday, we're going to have the all-important June 29th USDA report. They'll be coming out with the grain stocks numbers, and they'll also be coming out with the planted acres numbers. If you look back over the last 3 to 4 years, this particular report has caused some major swings in prices, and I'm sure it probably will again this year as we sit here and try to outguess the stocks, particularly the corn stocks, and the all-important acres. Most people are looking for corn acres in that 96 million area, when about unchanged to maybe a touch higher than what we were back in March. Bean acres, some are looking for about 1.5 million acre increase in the soybeans. So I'm sure that number is going to be very important for us as we see those come out. Realize that this will be the first time that this report is going to be released while we are trading. We will have the option pits and open outcry pits come open at 7:20 on Friday morning. So we do have that volatility to be offset there, let alone with the electronic trade going on. So it'd be something new, something to go through for next week on a major report like that. Key swing factors going into next week, naturally, come Sunday night, going to be the weather forecast. Particularly as we look towards the eastern corn belt of east central Illinois into Indiana, where the bullseye has been the area of concern in the last week to 10 days as far as the dryness out there, and Crop conditions next week will probably deteriorate in those two particular states. Some of the analysts are thinking we could see the U.S. crop progress back up another 2 to 3% in corn and probably 2 to 3% in the soybeans. So that'll be important to look at again Sunday night, and the volatility will probably increase with that, with those weather forecasts at that particular time. We did have the cattle on feed report this afternoon in the livestock area. The numbers came out a little bit heavy, a little bit of a bearish report seen here this afternoon on the cattle on feed. A couple other things to look at as we go into next week is the all-important macro markets. We saw the macro markets take a big hit yesterday. They recovered some today. But I think the important number to look at when we talk about the macros in particular is the crude oil price, which took a dip below $80 yesterday. It bounced back up and closed right around $80 here today. But the slowdown in the economic news and the growth around the world is causing these oil prices, energy prices to drop back to levels that we haven't seen since last fall. And if we can kind of keep these numbers down into here, it's probably going to put a little bit of pressure on the ethanol industry, gasoline industry. So we'll need to watch that next week. So it could be a very interesting week, a very volatile week as we move forward again. The weather trade is always one of these that you cannot pick the highs and the lows. Technical trade is awful difficult because of the high emotion. Be one of those if we probably do run up some next week in corn and bean prices. It may give us a good opportunity to take a look at some more pricing, particularly using the options to do some protection at that particular time for both on the corn and beans. So with that, if you got any questions you'd like to run by us, give us a call here in Cedar Rapids. Our phone number is 800-373-2525, or look us up on the web at BIScommodities.com. Have a good weekend.